So, many of you probably would love to hear from Mr. Drew Camden, El Presidente himself. Well, he reached out and he wanted to also be interviewed. And quite frankly, I was so excited to hear from him that I wanted to try to interview him that night. And unfortunately, he wasn't available, so we had to push it off 2 nights. Many of you, no doubt, have many questions about what's been going on with the group name for Rotor Riot. And this is the answer to that question. And it all centers on the single phrase, "This is our house." I hope you guys enjoy it. Bye. I think the thing, I really, and this is my curiosity, one of the things Chad said when I interviewed him was, nobody wants to be called a Rotor Riot fanboy. Like that, I think that's a direct quote from him. And
you said that? Wait, did you interview him before or after the Facebook
before
thing?
It was before.
Then why did you want that stupid name?
So that's
you should have known better.
That's the question I have for you was, take me through, if you can, take me through that decision process. Did y'all sit around a table and think this is a great idea, or did somebody just show up one day?
I think we moved a little too fast, and I think that's a function of how we've been operating for the past, we just make decisions and go.
Right.
And maybe now is the first time that we can really be like, you know what, let's sleep on things for a night, we talked about it. It was a very conscious decision. And in no way did any of us think we were saying that this is a group dedicated to fans of the pilots. It was never meant to be an ego move. It was so innocuous. It was so, what the hell is so bad about being a fan of Rotor Riot? I'm almost offended that that many people were pissed off to say that they're a fan. I'm like, why? Why is it so bad? I'm a fan of a ton of things. I'm a fan of pizza. I'm a fan of college humor. I'm a fan of, I don't know, a lot of cars.
Right.
What's so bad about being a fan of stuff? Just the process was that Rotor Riot main detractors, they seem to circle around it being about the Facebook group. And it's crazy just how many people will say things like Rotor Riot promotes Banggood, which is nonsense. We have never linked a Banggood link ever. Why would we? We have our own fucking store. But what they mean is Rotor Riot allows their group members to post Banggood links. And I guess that comes off as promotion. Okay. Now, we're not going to necessarily stop that. Sorry if you're a hater and you don't want us to allow Banggood links in the group, but there's probably gonna be some Banggood links. I mean, there's a different. It's all about context. Are you deliberately trying to promote a clone, or are you innocuously asking for advice? I don't. You know what I mean? It's tough. On the flip side, then you'll see Rotor Riot. I've been accused of Rotor Riot being anti-female. Because in the group, some women have been harassed, which I've never seen. That's the other thing. I see so little of the problematic behavior in the Facebook group because I interact with the positive Pete's. So the negative Nancy's, I don't even see. It's all algorithm based. I can't believe you allow that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? More people just use the report button. Just use the. So we were like, the Facebook group has become the de facto, the group, but it's called Rotor Riot. So we get held accountable for whatever happens in that group.
How is it managing 30,000 people?
It's just not possible, and no one cuts you any slack. People don't understand. Some people do. I don't want to discount it, but the loud ones are like, get your shit together. And I'm like, dude, it's nuts. But it's become kind of the de facto group.
You got 9 moderators.
yeah, it's just still not enough, dude. You
I mean,
know,
that's 2,000, more than 2,000 people per
like
moderator.
I'll wake up to someone complaining about something. Like, dude, I've been asleep. What do you think? I'm just letting this harassment happen? Like, I'm asleep, or I'm filming a video. Like, Jesus, you know, it's
Yeah.
and you just can't get enough moderators, and it's a thankless job, and they work their asses off, and they all, um, yeah, they all do as much as they can. They've
Hmm.
always been, you know, about making it a positive place. Really, nothing has changed in the group except for we let them know what we're doing, which is, I mean, circling back, the whole thing, it came to saying, okay, we could walk away from this group. You know, we just can't be held accountable in the way
Hmm.
we have been. We could just say, you know what, just have it. Just world, just take it. Just do what you want with it. You know, it's not going to be
Hmm.
an official Rotor Riot group. We're going to make another group and just, you know, just call this FPV talk. I don't care. Just have it. Or we grab it. Say, this is our house. If you're going to be in our house, you don't get to just say, I hate you. Like, just leave, you know, like, and this whole, like, oh, you guys are not allowing free speech. It's like, no, the government promises you free speech. This is a private Facebook group.
I love that argument. That's my favorite argument. It's like, oh my god, dude, like you're totally impeding on my free speech. I'm like, no, I'm not. Actually, you can say whatever you want to the president to his face, but I don't have to let you say that to me.
If you're in a restaurant and you're screaming, you know, fuck stop signs, fuck stop signs, I don't know, something random, but you're just screaming
I'm gonna
explicitives.
ask you to leave.
They're going to ask you to leave just for being disruptive.
Right.
Now, if you're in the restaurant and you start saying some racist, bigot stuff, you're also going to be asked to leave. If you're in the restaurant and you say, your food sucks, you'll probably, maybe they'll comp your food, but you'll probably, I don't know, be asked to leave, depending on,
Yeah.
it's our house, you know, and I don't think people saw it as it belonging to Rotor Riot. And in a sense, I like that. That kind of hurt. I do feel bad for taking that away in a sense that people are like, oh, this is our group, this is our place, and now you're coming and enforcing things. And I'm like, okay, when you put it like that, maybe we should have just given it away. But oh well, it's always had our name on it, and why throw away something that can be an asset to us? It's just.
Do you think it is an asset? Do you think it provides business value?
No, not really. Maybe, I don't know. It's tough. Yes and no. Chad really thinks it does. I go back and forth. You know, as to whether or not it adds business value. It's always been something that we've done. And I'm not saying I don't want to do it. I'm just saying it's not like necessarily a smart business decision. It's something that we wanted to provide for the community. And you know, I like the idea of it being the de facto group, and it still can be. But just like, don't dump on us while you're in there, and don't be disruptive. Just be nice. Why is it so hard to be nice? And for every person saying that the group is messy and that they're not welcoming, you have no idea how many emails we get saying from people that they had a bad experience in the group and they hate us because of it. Like it's incessant. And simultaneously, even before people were saying the group is over moderated, so there's no making everyone happy. But I'm like, if there's this many people saying that it needs to be more friendly, we're going to listen to that. If the two options are become more friendly or stay equally not friendly or even get less friendly, we're just going to be more friendly. Like, that's just so simple. Just be nice and just accept the fact that there's going to be some youngins in the group. What's so great about this sport is it transcends age. So we can have plenty of fun without, you know, being overly, and it's not like we're even removing, you know, swear words. But, you know, if you're talking about, I hate to call out someone specifically. I'm not going to say their name, but just like someone got all pissed off because we didn't even, I don't even think we deleted it, but they closed comments on a post that was about hookers and how like it was like a joke about how my wife would rather me spend the money on hookers than quad parts or something like that. And we closed it, and they got all, oh, you're censoring us. What's good fun? I'm like, you can have plenty of fun without talking about hookers and blow. Would you just be nice and just accept that there could be 16-year-olds in here, and their mom, like, just Jesus, like,
yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe I'm having to defend someone for, like, defend our mod team and their choice to remove a thread that was a joke about hookers. Like, we didn't even ban or remove anyone. We're just like, okay. I was like, that's funny, but we're gonna shut it down. And if people would, like, people take it so personally, it drives. I don't get it. I'm like, if your post is deleted, just be like, oh, okay, it didn't work. Like, I used to be on car forums. Like, sometimes my post would get deleted just because they got out of control. I'd make a post about something, and too many people would be off topic, and so the whole post would get deleted. And it wasn't personal. I was like, my post didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what happens on online forums and communities. Like, there's a degree of moderation. This is still one of the most open and uncensored platforms, but there's going to be a level of censorship, and you're going to have to get used to it.
Okay.
Else, you know.
I mean, I don't disagree, and for what it's worth, I'm happier to see a, kinder, gentler FPV community to a degree. Not that
our is going to be the place to be positive, to be helpful, to be inspirational. You know, a little bit of memes, fine and all, but, like, there's a limit and there's context. And even, you might post a meme and your post might get removed just because there's been too many that day. And you just got to control the temperature of the water. It's like a pool,
Mm-hmm.
You got to add some chlorine. So I love a couple memes here and there. You had too much chlorine and now it's turning green on you. So we're like, we're going to start pulling the memes if it turns into nothing but memeing for the day. And, like,
can I just tell you, living with a 13-year-old middle schooler, memes are the way that they communicate, and it drives me absolutely batty sometimes.
Yeah.
he and his friends come over, and they get into memes. It's like memeology. It is truly, it's pretty insane.
But your original question was this a conscious decision? And yes, and I think the whole thing, the real controversy, there's been a little people upset about it being overly moderate. Actually, what's the most frustrating is some of the detractors. Some of the people says, "Oh, you got to clean up your group." Now you clean up the group, and they're like, "Oh, you're over moderating it." I'm like, I will screw you. But that wasn't the real controversy. The real controversy was the name change, which was meant to be part of that. We're saying, you know what, this is a place for people that support what Rotor Riot, that is a fan of Rotor Riot, fan of what Rotor Riot stands for. Not a fan of Ladrib, although I hope you are. I mean, come on, but a fan of what Rotor Riot stands for, and we're gonna name it the fan club. And, like, everyone because you used to see so many people in there just dumping on, I hate Rotor Riot, this, and I'm like, you know what, we're just gonna call it the fan club. And those people are going to be so sickened by being in the fan club because they hate Rotor Riot. They're going to leave, And I'm fine with it. Everyone that doesn't like Rotor Riot, that's all pissed. I'm like, great. That's why we changed it. Why I regret the name is because there's a lot of people that really identified with being a part of Rotor Riot, and they feel like we're calling them a fan. And it took me a long time to really wrap my head around it because
now they're not a part of it.
I am a fan of Rotor Riot. I am a fan of Rotor Riot, and I am also very directly a part of it. So in my mind, from my naive, stupid perspective, they're not. What's the word?
There's a
exclusive.
Level of ownership.
Those aren't exclusive properties, so you can still be part of Rotor Riot, be part of the Rotor Riot community, and be a fan of Rotor Riot. But for some people, those terms kind of become exclusive, and I'm like, I can understand your perspective. It was not my intent, and I would be happy to change the name back, and we will change the name back in 28 days from the date it was changed, because that's all Facebook will let us do. We will well, I don't know if we'll change it back. We'll change it to something. We'll probably take a poll. And that was the other thing, is I didn't know we would get locked out. So I thought we'd change it, and if it didn't work out, well, we'll just change it again. We'll just keep changing it. We'll just find what works. Like, honestly, it was kind of like, we're going to call it Rotor Riot. I thought we would change it after 10 days, regardless. We'd call it the Rotor Riot Fan Club. People that hated us would leave, and then we'd call it the Rotor Riot group or something else, and just kind of do a little bit of like, if you hate us, please leave. Like, why are you in my house just like shit talking me? Just get out of here, you know? You know, or even in here to complain about the group. I hate it in here. Then go. Like, you're not a fan, then go.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? So I mean, to summarize, it doesn't sound insane the way that you explain it, and
the outcome was ludicrous, though.
The outcome was I don't know if you've spent any time. I know that Jeff has on the other Rotor Riot.
No, I don't. I just stay out of it.
Just stay out of it. Just stay out of it. It is truly. I think I saw maybe the first positive post there today, and I'm almost watching it like someone watches NASCAR just to watch the train wreck. But that outcome was kind of ludicrous and has been. It was actually very personally stressful for me. There was a something that Chad said got taken way out of context, and they posted just a clip of it. Yeah, and people lost their minds, and I felt at that point like it was my place to step in, because this is part of something I created, and so I actually joined the group at that point and said, hey, this is not okay.
But they don't care. You can't argue facts with some people.
No, you can't. You can't. I had my say, like, and step back.
Good. No, we don't. Oh, you're calling me a liar? I'm like, all right.
This is the first of several portions of the interview with Drew. I thought this one was the most important to see, but we talk about a lot, and we talked for nearly 2 hours. I won't show all 2 hours, because there were, quite frankly, some times where we needed just to talk as opposed to, interview and report. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, then like, subscribe, and comment. And there will be more where this comes from. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all. Bye.